Mataji, are you ready to sing? You are mute, okay, yeah. Before Mataji, you sing, I would request, just a minute. I will share the screen for the song. So we will read the meaning before we actually go to the song. So that would be better. So we can appreciate the song then. Just give me a second. Share it. Just a minute.
Do you want us to say?
Yeah. I'm Sash. Can you see Prabhu?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, okay. So let me read this. So this is a song which glorifying, Mahaprabhu. Sundara. So some of the places is mentioned Lala, Bala, both are same only. So that's fine. We can see here the meaning. Okay.
1.5 minutes.
So this gorgeous boy is a darling child of Mother Sachi. So it is talking about, the song is talking about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as a young child. This gorgeous boy is a darling child of Mother Sachi, dancing in the kirtan of chanting Lord Hari's names. His forehead is adorned with drawings of sandalwood paste, and his enchanting locks of hair are shining in a splendorous fashion as they bounce upon his cheeks. His hair is wrapped in a top knot, and a garland of forest flowers sway upon his chest. Wearing brilliant yellow silken garments, he dances with ankle bells tinkling upon his feet. Shri Radha and Krishna have become joined in one body, and together they play a flute within the grove of Niduvana. In this mood, the Lord of Vishwarupa has come and manifested himself in the town of Nadia. Someone in the Kirtan sings the names of Radha and Krishna, someone else sings songs of Lord Hari's transcendental qualities, while others play the auspicious rhythms of the sweet and relishable mridanga drums. All this takes place in that spectacular performance. So we see how a little boy, as Mahaprabhu, as a little child, is playing. Mother Sachi Mata is Nimai's mother, and how he's dressed so wonderfully. And actually, Radha and Krishna's combined form is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and how he's, the devotees are singing his glories. So that's what his song is talking about. So we will hear from Mataji, and we can try to meditate this beautiful meaning of this song. Yeah, yes, Mataji, you go ahead, please. I'll just go up a little bit. Yes. Apu Mataji?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, yes.
Sundar Lala Sajir Dulala नाचत श्री हरि कीर्तन में नाचत श्री हरि कीर्तन में सुंदर लाला सचिर दुलाला नाचत श्री हरि कीर्तन में। भाले चंदन तिलक मनोहर, भाले चंदन तिलक मनोहर, अलका शोभे कपोलन में। सुंदर लाला सचिर दुलाला, नाचत श्री हरि कीर्तन में। नाचत श्री हरि कीर्तन में। शीर चुरा बाले, बन फूल माला किया पर डोले, बन फूल माला हिया पर डोले।
శృతి వస్తున్నా వస్తలేవా
चुरा
శృతి
बाले, बन फूल माला हिया पर डोले, बन फूल माला हिया पर डोले। पहिरन पीत पीतांबर शोभे, नूपुर रुनु झुनु चरणों में। सुंदर लाला सचिर दुलाला, नाचत श्री हरि कीर्तन में। नाचत श्री हरि कीर्तन में। राधा कृष्ण एक तनु है, राधा कृष्ण एक तनु है। निधुवन माझे बंसी बजाए, राधा कृष्ण एक तनु है। निधुवन माझे बंसी बजाए, राधा कृष्ण एक तनु है। निधुवन माझे बंसी बजाए, विश्व रूप की प्रभु जी सही आवत प्रकट ही नदिया में। सुंदर लाला सचिर दुलाला, नाचत श्री हरि कीर्तन में। नाचत श्री हरि कीर्तन में। कोई गायत है राधा कृष्ण नाम, कोई गायत है हरि गुण गान। कोई गायत है राधा कृष्ण नाम, कोई गायत है हरि गुण गान। मंगल दान में दंग रसाला, बाजत कोई रंगन में। सुंदर लाला सचिर दुलाला, नाचत श्री हरि कीर्तन में। नाचत श्री हरि कीर्तन में। भाले चंदन तिलक मनोहर, भाले चंदन तिलक मनोहर, अलका शोभे कपोलन में। सुंदर लाला सचिर दुलाला, नाचत श्री हरि कीर्तन में। नाचत श्री हरि कीर्तन में। नाचत श्री हरि कीर्तन में। हरे कृष्णा Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Shila Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you so much for the wonderful Kirtan. Very bol. Very nice. So it was so wonderful. Thank you, Mataji. So tomorrow is a wonderful Gaur Purnima festival. So we got an opportunity today to remember the Lord and to recollect some of the pastimes, you know. So we'll offer our pranams and we will start. ज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जना शलाकया चक्षुरुं ललितं मेन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितमेन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वापदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतापतकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सकगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजना सहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान् सकगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमोस्तुते तप्त काञ्चना गौरङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषाभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मुखं करोति वाचालं भङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरम्। हरे कृष्ण। So just like to know how many of the devotees here are Gita Gyan devotees. Could you raise your hands, please? Okay, nice to see many hands rising up. Yeah, please do please do raise your hand so we will know. Okay, fine. Thank you so much for joining. We thank all the Gita Gyan devotees for joining today. Okay, so let's get back. So, okay, so Mahaprabhu, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we see that he appeared. This is tomorrow is the 537th appearance day festival. 537th year. So around 500 years back, we see Mahaprabhu appeared. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in a place called Navadip, the town of Nadia. And that time, if you see, I think it's echoing, Prabhu. So that time, Navadip, we can see that the situation was quite different. People, even though it is a land, very pious land, we see that time, people were becoming more materialistic. This is, I'm talking about 500 years back. Now Kali Yuga has progressed, so things in general, in everywhere, it is getting more materialistic. So we see that even 500 years back, the situation was such that, people were religious, but they were not spiritual. In the name of religion, they were trying to do so many activities, just to show off, who is actually possessing more opulence. That was the mood. So what people used to do is that, like, as we all know, Vivaha Yajna, even marriage ceremony is considered as one of the samskaras, as a purificatory process. And in fact, it has to be done, keeping the Lord in the center. So, but here we see even a Vivaha Yajna can be done in a completely materialistic way, the marriage ceremonies. So 500 years back in this place in Navadip Dham, what people were doing was that they were actually doing this marriage ceremonies in a way that it is just like a competition. Okay, someone has done a very gorgeous marriage ceremony, then I should defeat that person and do something which is even more higher than the other one. So that was a kind of competition, and people were just spending a lot of money just to show that who is actually very rich. So this was going on. And when they when they didn't have a child, or when they have actually given all their daughters or sons in marriage, then what they were doing was they were actually keeping two murtis of the Lord, and they were trying to like Lord Shiva and Parvati, like that, they were keeping, and then they will do that marriage ceremony in a very grand scale, not in a very spiritual mood, but just to show to people that I possess a lot of money. So, and it went to a position that it got so degraded that they were actually doing marriage ceremonies for cats and dogs. It gone to such a degraded position. So when things were going so bad, that time Sri Advaita Acharya is actually, we see the Panchatattva, the five personalities. We see Advaita Acharya is a combination of Lord Shiva and Vishnu combined. And he appeared that time. In fact, even before Lord Chaitanya appeared, he was there. And he saw the situation, and, he prayed to the Lord, my dear Lord, you have to come down personally, because things have become very worse. And only by your personal appearance that the situation can change. You only can, give prema to all these people, because it is so degraded now that, only your personal presence can make a change. So my dear Lord, I'm requesting you, please come down to this material world and save all these fallen conditioned souls. So this was a prayer of Sri Advaita Acharya. And he prayed, from his heart, and, he was calling out the Lord with such a sincere prayer. And every day he was, doing abhishek of Salagram Shila, with the Ganges water, with the Tulsi leaves, and praying the Lord to appear. And when the Lord was so pleased, and then he appeared, to please Shri Advaita Acharya and to protect all the fallen souls of Kali Yuga. So then the Lord appeared as, the beautiful, Lord Chaitanya. So where he appeared, so, Mother Sachi Mata, and, and it was not a birth like in the, in the material world, because when the Lord is appearing, that is a transcendental birth. That's a transcendental appearance. So it is not like, just a union of a male and a female, but it is a transcendental, appearance. So what happened was, Mahaprabhu's, the Lord's father, Jagannath Mishra, he could see, that, a special, rays entering, into his heart. And then from his heart, from his mind to the heart, and from the heart, it got transferred, to Mother Sachi, Sachi's heart, and then it enters into the womb. And then Mother Sachi could feel that, she is carrying, a special child. And then that is the way, that the Lord got conceived. And then when Mother Sachi was carrying the Lord in her womb, she could see all very auspicious, symptoms everywhere. In fact, Jagannath Mishra was not a very rich Brahmana. He was a very poor person, but yet after, the Lord was conceived, the situation was completely changed. People were coming and giving, a lot of gifts, all of a sudden. And then Jagannath Mishra was very surprised that, so long, these things were not happening. But now we could see that people are coming to their home, and, they are coming and giving a lot of gift, a lot of money. And then they could also see that, especially Mother Sachi could see all the devas and devis coming, into their home. And there was one special occasion she saw that baby Nimai, the child, was, before that, before we go into that, when Mother Sachi was actually, pregnant, that time itself, she saw that many devatas were coming and praying to her, and then offering prayers, circumambulating her, and she could see all these different things. Then she could understand the child is a very special child. And then we see that, after that, the child was in the womb for a very long time. It's more than 9 months, but the child is still not come out. So they went, and asked Nilambara Chakravarti. Nilambara Chakravarti was Mother Sachi's, father, and he was a great astrologer. So they went and inquired from Nilambara Chakravarti why the child has not come out. And then Nilambara Chakravarti said that the child is coming very soon on a very auspicious day. And then as per the calculation given by Nilambara Chakravarti, the baby came out in the 13th month, on the auspicious full moon day of the Falguna month. So, and then that day happened to be an eclipse. And, people those days, that 500 years back in that, that time in Navadip, people were very hesitant, to chant, the Hare Krishna mantra, because even though it was given in the Upanishads, it was mentioned, in the Kali Santarana Upanishad, this mantra is already given. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Iti Soda Shatakam Kali Kalmashan iti sodashakam namnam kali kalmasha nashanam na parataro upaya sarva vedeshu drishyate. The 16 names have that potency to destroy all the impurities of Kali Yuga. And it is also, declared in all the scriptures. So that is the potency of this holy name. But what happened over a period of time, people have forgotten that potency. And those days, people were thinking that, by chanting these holy names, the holy name, if we are not chanting in a very auspicious time, the holy name will lose its potency. Holy name never loses its potency. Rather, the person who chants the holy name will get all the strength. But people, for some reason, were, immaturely thinking that, only when we chant, in Ganga or the holy rivers, we can actually chant the holy name. Otherwise, we should not be chanting because the holy name will lose its potency. So it was a very wrong conception people were having. So this lunar eclipse was a perfect time because during eclipse, people consider themselves as contaminated. So they go and take a dip in the holy river. So it was, and this full moon day happened to be on that, that eclipse also came at the same time. So all the residents of Navadip Dham were in Ganga. And they were calling out the names of the Lord, the holy names of the Lord. They were chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. They were calling the different transcendental names of the Lord. So the entire, place was vibrating with the transcendental name of the Lord. So that was the time the Lord actually, appeared in this world. Here, amidst of all this wonderful transcendental vibration of the holy name, the Lord appeared. And the Lord appeared because, those days when the mothers are are actually giving birth, there will be a separate small room or a cottage where, they actually, which is little away from the main house. So then what happens? So this place was near a neem tree. So because Mahaprabhu, so he appeared under a neem tree. So he was also called as Nimai. So the naming ceremony happened after a long time. Generally, the naming ceremony happens after a child is born, but it took a little longer. Then what happened was they did two ceremonies together. So the Lord's naming ceremony and the Annaprashna ceremony were done together. So that time, the name given, there were two names given. One was actually because he was born under the neem tree, he was given the name as Nimai, and also he was given the name Vishwambara. Vishwambara means one who can take the load of the whole world, one who can sustain, one who sustains the universe. So he's called Vishwambara. So he was called as Vishwambara. He was also called as Nimai. Then how did the name Gauranga came? Because the Lord came in a golden complexion. He was also called as Gauranga. And Chaitanya means the living force. So these are the few names. There are many names for the Lord. He's got unlimited names. These are some of the names, prominent names by which we call Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And so in the childhood, he was very, well known as Nimai Pandit, because he was so scholarly. When the Lord appears, of course, he's full of all Aishwarya and, full of knowledge from, he's the source of all the knowledge. And so he was known as Nimai Pandit. And at the age of 11, in fact, he started his own school. Nimai Pandit, he started his own school. So before that, we see that there are many pastimes, childhood pastimes, which actually declares, also proves, that he is non-different, from this, he's a Supreme Lord himself. Because many times people, get this doubt, we may get a doubt also that, where is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance given? where in which shastras and which scriptures it is mentioned. But actually we will be very surprised that many scriptures actually gives that Mahaprabhu's appearance. Probably at the end we will share those slides, that Matsya Purana, Vayu Purana, Varaha Purana, and many other Puranas very clearly mentioned that, where he will appear, the place, what time of the Kali Yuga he will appear, who will be his parents, and how he looks like. All these different things are very clearly mentioned. And also we see throughout the pastimes also that, the Lord's, he's not different from the spiritual, Krishna. So Krishna himself has come down as Lord Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Sarvadharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Raja, Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo Moksha Ishyami Masuchaka. So he says that surrender unto me, I will protect you. But then people were bewildered how to surrender. What actually surrender means? Does it mean that we need to give up everything? Is that called surrender? So all these questions. So the Lord could see that, he himself has to come down and show people what actually surrender means, how to become a devotee. So Krishna himself comes in his most merciful form. He comes as a devotee and shows, what surrender means, how one can actually become a devotee. And so he actually demonstrated it personally. So we see that, how the Lord appeared, and from the from his appearance till all his activities, we can see that he's a supreme Lord, because that's what Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita also. In Bhagavad Gita also we see that Arjuna is asking this question to Krishna. I think many of the Gita Gyan students, you just would have finished your, all the 18-day course, and you would have heard about it, that how, Arjuna is asking Krishna to show the universal form, the Virat Rupa, the Vishwa Rupa. Why? Because, Arjuna want to show to all the people that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. Because he heard the Bhagavad Gita, he has all the faith, but how people will believe it? So he wanted the Lord to show that form, that everything in the universe is included in him, and he is the origin. Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. You are the cause of all the causes. My dear Lord, you are the origin, you are the beginning, you are the end. So how do people will believe it? So he requests the Lord, to show the universal form. So similarly, if somebody claims that, I am God or I am an avatar, then it is mentioned in the scriptures that we need to test mainly on the two criterias. One is the scripture should have spoken about that personality, and also the activities of the personality, some uncommon activities which no ordinary human being can do. That two things we need to test before we accept someone as God. Otherwise, there could be many people who claim themselves as God, and we may also accept them as God, and we may get misled. So it is good to test. This is on the basis of Shastra Pramana. So we see that as and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we see from the Shastras very clearly it is mentioned that he is the Supreme Lord, which we will be sharing towards end all the quotes from the scriptures. And then secondly, we can see that the activities what he has performed, which is those two things are quite fitting this criteria. And then we can see that definitely Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Lord himself. So, and we see that in the childhood also his appearance was not like the appearance of a normal child. It is an immaculate birth, a transcendental appearance of the Lord. And then when the Lord appeared, and after that also what he would do, he will cry, and all the ladies would go and try to, pacify the baby Nimai. But then when they call out Hari Bol, Hare Krishna, and Krishna's name, immediately the child would get pacified. So they have to keep on chanting the names Lord. And when they move around and they move out, then immediately the baby will start crying. So in that way, the Lord, from the very birth, very appearance, actually he inspired everyone to chant the Lord's name. And then we see that after that also there are many pastimes after the child was appeared also. Then Mother Sachi could see that at one point of time she saw that so many devatas, they appeared, and in the courtyard of Mother Sachi. And then they took the baby Nimai who was playing around, and they put them on a jeweled throne, and he was given a very ceremonial abhishek, with all the wonderful auspicious items. And Mother Sachi is seeing all that, and she was stunned. And then he was given the wonderful abhishek, and then after he was cleaned and he was put wonderful clothes. And then all the devatas are offering wonderful prayers, and they are circumambulating the Lord. And then finally they are putting the Lord back into the place where he was playing. They could hear a lot of sound, and Mother Sachi was completely stunned, and she could see everyone was dancing and singing and in ecstasy, rolling on the ground. And Mother Sachi was just, witnessing all these things. And then she could see that baby Nima is also dancing. He was just a small baby, can't even crawl properly as per in an external vision, but she could see that he is actually jumping and dancing, and she could hear the ankle bell sound. But actually the baby Nimoy was not wearing any ankle bell, but still the sound was coming. So she was like quite surprised, and she was watching, and she was stunned. At some point of time, she fell down on the ground fainting, and then hearing that sound, Jagannath Mishra came, and then she was trying to, inquire from Sachi Mata, what happened? Did you see any dream? Then Mother Sachi was narrating what happened, and then they were looking around, they couldn't see anything. And then they saw that, the baby Nimoy was also not wearing any, ankle bells, but yet, they could hear a lot of sound coming. So like this, constantly, Jagannath Mishra and Sachi Mata could see that all the devatas coming and, worshipping and offering prayers to baby Nimai. And then later also many pastimes like once, when Nimai was very nicely dressed up and all that, two thieves, they came. They saw that the baby was very nicely dressed up, and they could see all the gold jewelry. They thought, okay, if we take this child, then we will get some money. So they were actually, trying to, take the child. And when baby Nimoy was playing around outside the house, then immediately they thought, this is a wonderful opportunity. We will take the child and run away. So they took the child and put it on their shoulder, and then they went, and they were telling, we will get you some nice sweets. So baby Nimai was also very happily, sitting on their back, and he was going. And they were trying to take the child inside, to their hideout. And Nimai was asking, where, you told me that you will give me sweets. Where are the sweets? So they took him to some sweet shop and gave him some rasagullas and sandesh. And, and they were thinking, okay, now we will take the child to our place and take out all the ornaments. And they went, and when they saw a place, it looked like their, hideout, and they immediately placed the baby there. And when they placed the baby, immediately they saw the vision was completely different. It is no more their hideout. It was the same place where they actually picked the baby. It is actually Sachimata's house. And they were stunned. Oh, we actually went a long distance and it looked like our place. But all of a sudden now we are looking and we can't see our place. It looks like Sachimata's house. Oh, if someone sees us, then they will catch us. So they were placing the baby and they were trying to run. and they were running immediately. Jagannath Mishra and Mother Sachi, they were actually, they could see that the child has been taken by somebody, and they were actually in great anxiety. And they were actually searching for the child everywhere. And they could all of a sudden see two people are bringing their baby and dropping them there. So they felt, oh, what a wonderful gentleman they are that they are bringing back our child. So they actually wanted to thank, but these thieves could feel that, oh my God, if we are caught, then we will be in trouble. So they were running and running and running. And baby Nimai was laughing like anything. So like that, the Lord, put them, in illusion, and brought them back to the same place. So then another occasion, baby Nimai and, Jagannath Mishra, I mean, all of them were in the home. And then that time, one Brahmana guest came to their house. So those days, people were very, very pious, and especially, of course, Jagannath Mishra and Mother Sachi were such exalted personalities. When an Atiti comes, how, we have to serve them. They say that Titi means giving a specific time of coming. If someone is coming, telling that, giving an appointment, or saying that I will come so and so date and so time to your house, they are not called as a guest, because they are telling and coming. But if someone is coming just like that to anyone's house, they are called Atiti, because they didn't give a time, they didn't give a date, and they just came, and they are called Atiti. So such guest, scriptures say that such a guest who comes just like that, they have to be treated like a Narayana. They have to be treated like God, and they have to be given due respect, and serve them properly. But in Kali Yuga, we see that we get actually tensed when someone comes like that, isn't it? But those days, that was a tradition, and that was a custom, that they give their best when a guest comes to their home like that. And so here, being such exalted Vaishnavas and personalities and devotees, Jagannath Mishra and Sachi Mata were so happy that, their wonderful devotee has come to their house. So they invited him, they welcomed him so nicely. And he was carrying a deity of Gopal. And, so Mother Sachi and Jagannath Mishra said that, please, stay, and, we want to serve you nicely. Sorry. But then they said that the Brahmana guest said that, oh, I'm so sorry, I won't eat anything which is not offered to my deity first. So first I would like to offer my Gopal, and then I will take that. So just give me some fruits and roots. I don't want to trouble you. Just give some fruits and roots. Then immediately Mother Sachi and Jagannath Mishra said that, how can we just send you with the fruits and roots? You are always, you generally eat fruits and roots only. So you have come to our home. So we will be happy only if we serve you a proper, feast. So please allow us, to cook for you. And then, so the Brahmana said that, okay, we will cook and we will offer to your deity, and then you can have the prasadam. So the Brahmana agreed, and then Mother Sachi and, many other ladies, they came together, and all of them very jubilantly and enthusiastically, they cooked, and then they made a wonderful feast, and they offered to the Gopal. They said, the Brahmana, you please offer to Gopal. So the Brahmana kept all the offering in front of the Gopal deity, and then he started chanting the mantras. And then he was sincerely calling out the Lord, oh, my dear Lord, please come and have this boga, So the moment he was calling out, baby Nimai went there and started taking all the offerings kept for Gopal. And when the Brahmana saw that, he was so upset. Oh my God, the baby has actually, eaten this offering. I can't offer this to Gopal. So when Jagannath Mishra and Mother Sachi saw, they were so upset. Oh, and they were taking a stick in the hand, and they were chasing baby Nimai. What did you do? You have ruined the offerings of Gopal. And the Brahmana said, don't, no, don't worry, don't scold the child, a small baby, what, the baby won't know anything, it's okay, it is not written in my destiny to eat today. You just give me some fruits and roots. I told you in the beginning only. So Mother Sachi said, no, we can't, disappoint our guests like that. Please allow us, one more time we will just cook. Just kindly, give us permission to cook. So then, because they were so much requesting, so the Brahmana said, okay, you cook and give me. So then again, Mother Sachi and all the other ladies, they came together, and they were very happily and sincerely and lovingly, and they were making the offering. Then what happened? Again, the Brahmana, now it was almost evening, it became, and then he was again putting all the offering in front of the Lord. And then he was closing his eyes, and he was very sincerely and very lovingly calling out to Gopal, oh, my dear Lord, please come and have this offering. And when he called out, immediately baby Nimai came again. And in fact, they were actually kept him away, but, and for all, for everyone's surprise, he came and again took all the offerings, started eating. And this time Jagannath Mishra got so upset. Oh, what did you do, Nimai? That again you have, spoiled this offering, and again they were, trying to, chastise baby Nimai. And then the Brahmana said, no, please don't do that. I will just take fruits and roots. Please don't worry about it. So that time, Vishwarupa, the elder brother of baby Nimai, Mother Sachi had another son also who was elder to Nimai, and his name was Vishwarupa. And Vishwarupa, scriptures say that he is non-different from Lord Balarama, and when Vishwarupa entered home, he was so beautiful and so effulgent, so divine. So when the Brahmana looked at the beautiful form of Vishwarupa, his heart got completely melted. And then Vishwarupa could see that his parents were in great anxiety. The Brahmana was in anxiety. So he went and asked his parents what was the problem. And then they told everything. Then he went to the Brahmana and he requested, my dear Brahmana, with a very sweet and words, he said, please allow my parents, to kindly cook for one more time. For you, you can be without eating, because you are a son, you are you got used to that and you can be without eating. But for my parents, being the householders, being the grahasas, when a guest come and if they don't feed, that is not really good and they cannot be happy. So please allow us to cook for you and serve you properly. And he begged. So when he said in sweet words, immediately the Brahmana said okay. And then what happened? It was again they started cooking. So it's a third time. It's almost midnight now, and everyone is sleeping. So they said to the Brahmana, okay, now we will give you this offering. We all are going and you please offer and you please have this prasadam later. So baby Nima is also sleeping. So no disturbance. Now you please kindly do offer and you please have it. So they said it and they went inside. And now again the Brahmana is keeping the offering in front of the Lord, closing his eyes, and very sincerely, very lovingly, again he is calling, my dear Lord, please, please come and have the offering. And when he called now, again baby Nimai now came and he started taking the offering, and he was like stunned for a moment. That time immediately the Lord, changed his form as Gopal. He became Gopal Krishna. And then when the Brahmana saw, he was like stunned. And the Lord said, you are calling me every time and I am coming and taking your offering, and then you're scolding me and chastising me and you're getting upset. What is that? You called me, I came. And at the same time, he told, I have actually appeared in in this home, as a son of Jagannath Mishra and Sachi Mata. But they don't know my identity, please don't disclose this. Sorry. please don't disclose this. And he gave darshan, and then he disappeared. And this Brahmana was completely, just one moment. Sorry. So this Brahmana was like, oh my God, he saw the Lord face to face. The Gopal whom he has been worshipping for so long, he could see the Lord face to face. And then he was like, he became completely mad, in the sense he was searching for that place where the Lord has actually taken and eaten that bhoga. He took the rice and he was applying on his whole body because he was so ecstatic. Oh, this is the rice my Gopal has eaten. And he was just applying on his own body and rubbing on his own body. Then and he was shouting and he was in ecstasy. Then hearing that sound, Jagannath Mishra, Sachi Mata, and everyone came out. What happened? And they saw that Brahmana was actually applying this rice everywhere, all over the body. They thought, what happened to him? And then probably they thought, probably maybe he is, after a long, after a long gap, morning to afternoon to evening, starving, he's now actually having prasadam. Maybe that's why he's, very, he's like this. So they thought like that and then went off. But this Brahmana was so blessed, to see the Lord face to face, and, the Lord could eat, from his hand, and he could take those remnants directly. So in that way, the Lord actually performed a lot of wonderful, sweet pastimes, to please his devotees. So like that, there are many, many pastimes we can keep on sharing. So one of the primary reason, I'm seeing the time also. So one of the primary reasons the Lord came, for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance, we see that is that, Krishna, Krishna had so many wonderful devotees, and of all those devotees, the topmost of the devotees is Srimati Radharani. So Krishna was thinking, how much love Srimati Radharani has got for me. I want to, relish, what she is relishing, about me, that love, what she is relishing. So he wanted to relish that devotion, what Srimati Radharani was relishing. So that is not possible being, in the form of Krishna. So that is why the Lord took the mood, the color of Srimati Radharani, the heart of Radharani. And then he came as Lord Gauranga to relish the devotion of Srimati Radharani. And also, Chaitanya Charitamrita, there are detailed, details are given, elaborate information is given. I'm just giving little, drops of it. And the another main reason he has come to give this Hare Krishna mantra to everyone, to give the Nama and Prema, the holy name, and to give Krishna Prema to everyone. He's not seeing who is qualified, who is not qualified. Because, and no conditions, applied here. He's just giving freely to everybody. The topmost love, which is the, the love of Krishna Prema, very easily to everyone, which no other incarnation has ever offered before. Because when the Lord came as Matsya, Kurma, Varaha, Vamana, they also the Lord's main mission was to protect the devotees, to annihilate the miscreants, and to establish dharma. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma samsapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. So that was the main thing. And he liberated also many, many demons. But, the point is that it is a more of liberation. But the Lord came in this form mainly to give prema, to love of Krishna. That is the main mission of the Lord, to come here, to give to all the fallen conditioned souls of Kali Yuga. So we see that there are many, many lessons also, many pastimes. And many lessons also we can learn from Chaitanya Charitamrita, because the time, I thought of going for this the lessons, some of the lessons which we can learn from Mahaprabhu's pastimes, which probably could be one of the prayers for tomorrow's Gaura Purnima festival. So which I would like to share here. So this is a pastime connected with Devananda Pandita. Before that, we see that one of the important lessons which we, which even in our material life, it will be very helpful. What to speak about spiritual life. When we see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he came, in this material world, especially when he was, going to Varanasi, those days it's called as Banarasa. So when he was going, Varanasi, that time, many Mayavadi philosophers, the impersonalists, they were actually criticizing Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he did not speak back. He tolerated it. In fact, he smiled and he did not even say any words. And he was very, very humble. And that by that humility and by the tolerance, he actually won the heart of the the Mayavadi leader Prakashananda Saraswati, and in fact he changed his heart completely. So that is the power of being tolerant and being a very tolerating the insults, or tolerating people. Sometimes even in our material world we see that many times we face with many we might not have done any mistake, or we might not have said something wrong, but sometimes people say something back to us. Many situations in our life comes where we lose our cool, and we become intolerant, and then the problem becomes double and triple, and it multi times it increases. So whenever there is a tolerance level goes down, we see that the problem only actually increases. So Mahaprabhu, by his own example, he showed, Mahaprabhu could have got angry and could have spoken something back. But the Lord is showing by his own personal example that just by tolerating it, how he actually won the heart of Prakashananda Saraswati. So it is one of the lessons, to become being very tolerant, to develop increase our tolerance level. That is one of the lessons. And also, he did not actually, okay, I tolerated, so I don't want to look at the person, and then, I don't want even the company of the person, or I don't want, to deal with that person. He was not like that. Rather, Mahaprabhu went personally and spoke with Prakashananda Saraswati, and they had that meeting. So we could see that, in our movement, in our life also, we need to tolerate and we need to cooperate. Both are very, very important. And Srila Prabhupada wanted everyone to cooperate with each other. In the spiritual life, when we come, sometimes even, wherever there is more than two people, there is a chance of misunderstanding, because we are in Kali Yuga. And Kali Yuga is known for quarrel and misunderstanding. And in fact, Kali Yuga is a age of quarrel and hypocrisy. So what can we expect? It can happen even within a spiritual community, but it is one of the things to, we need to remind ourselves that we need to, certain things we need to give and take. It's tolerate, and then we cooperate, and then we go forward. That's the way, things can become better. Otherwise, it only aggravates the situation. And we also take this connected with this, the takeaway, another important takeaway we see from the life of Devananda Pandit. We see that Devananda Pandit was a very wonderful, very pious personality. And in fact, of course, later he became a very close associate of Mahaprabhu. But before, he was a very, very pious personality, very learned personality, very gentle in talking. And, he knew what good mannerism is all about, how to deal with people, how to speak, everything he knew very well. And he was very much attached to speaking Srimad Bhagavatam. So he possessed all these wonderful things. But just imagine, what happened was, So he was giving, Srimad Bhagavatam. He was speaking on Srimad Bhagavatam. One particular time, Srivas Thakur, the very close associate of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he happened to go there, to hear the Bhagavatam. And when he heard the Bhagavatam spoken by Devananda Pandit, he was remembering the Lord, and he went into great ecstasy. And he went into great ecstasy that, he was making that ecstatic sounds while the class was going on. And it came very naturally, spontaneously. But the other students of Devananda Pandit, they were also listening, they were watching Srivas Pandit, and they couldn't tolerate it. They thought, what is this? He's making such a sound, and then they didn't understand his glory. They picked up Srivas Thakur and they went and threw him out of the that ashram where this Bhagavatam session was happening. When Srivas Thakur came to his external senses, he realized that he's actually laying on a street, and he felt very embarrassed, and he felt bad, but he left. Then later what happened, see the impact, what it has happened. Later, many years, so this happened. So Srivas Thakur was hurt, and then he moved off. And then when later, many years later, when Mahaprabhu, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, performed the Sankirtan Leela, in Navadip Dham, Devanand Pandit was quite close, but he could not appreciate the Lord because of the offense he made for Srivas Thakur. That even though the Lord was there dancing, singing, he could not have any faith or appreciate the Lord. So, but then what happened? The Lord will be there, dancing, singing. All the devotees will go and take advantage of his blessings and mercy. But Devananda Pandit was not able to do it. But he was still continuing his Bhagavatam classes. He was doing it. Then Mahaprabhu one day was passing that ashram, of Devananda Pandit, and he was hearing him giving this Srimad Bhagavatam class. Then immediately he spoke to his associates, who is giving the class? He has no right to speak about Srimad Bhagavatam, and he was very, very upset that he wanted to go and, want to, take him out of that seat speaking Srimad Bhagavatam. But the devotee stopped him. And another occasion, Mahaprabhu was walking, and then with Srivas Thakur, that time Devananda Pandit was also coming. So then immediately Mahaprabhu went to him and he said, you have offended Srivas Thakur and you are giving Bhagavatam class. How can you understand Srimad Bhagavatam? I have not even heard one word devotional service in your classes. In the beginning, in the middle, and the end, Bhagavatam is only speaking about devotional service. But I never heard even one word of devotional service in your entire class. And how can you understand the book Bhagavatam if you have not given respect for the person Bhagavatam? You can never understand. So because of your offense to Srivas Thakur, you will never understand. So this is what Mahaprabhu said. And Srivas Thakur is a pure devotee and you have offended him. So then when Mahaprabhu said that and went, but then Devananda Pandit could not really understand what Mahaprabhu was telling him. Then later what happened was, another very dear devotee of Shiva's, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his name was Vakreshwar Pandit. Vakreshwar Pandit was such a devotee that he was an embodiment of humility. And he was always, blissful, dancing, and chanting, the holy name. And Mahaprabhu has personally given him that ecstasy whenever he dances. So when he dances, one can see all the ecstatic symptoms manifesting in his body, like, tears flowing from his eyes, and trembling, and then his hair standing on end. So this is what happens when Vakreshwar Pandit dances, and anyone who sees his dancing will get completely mesmerized and their heart would completely melt. And if anyone hears his chanting, their heart will be filled with the holy name. That was the impact just by looking at his dance and hearing his singing. That's a power and potency, the spiritual potency of Vakreshwar Pandit. This is a potency of pure devotees. When pure devotees speak, when they sing, when they dance, their mere association can actually change anyone's heart. Even a stone-like heart melts. That's why the scriptures say, Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Shastra Hoy, Lava Matra Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Siddhi. So, even a momentary association of a pure devotee can completely transform our heart. And we can see here when Vakreshwar Pandit entered, the ashram of Devananda Pandit, for some reason, when Devananda Pandit, he was a very great eloquent speaker of Srimad Bhagavatam, and but when he saw the Vakreshwar Pandit, his heart got very much attracted, and he felt, I should do some seva for this person. And then what happened was, and then he was giving, arranging the place, for him to dance. And when Vakreshwar Prabhu danced, he became very ecstatic, and then he was making sure that he has enough space to dance. And when in ecstasy, Vakreshwar Pandit was actually falling, he was going and catching him, and he was going, he was taking the menial service of washing his feet, and he was doing all the menial service for Vakreshwar Pandit. And then what happened later, at some point, Mahaprabhu came to a place called Kulia, and there he actually was forgiving all the people who has offended him, and so that time many people came and asked for forgiveness to the Lord. Oh, my dear Lord, please forgive me, I've unknowingly committed some offenses, and Mahaprabhu was forgiving everyone. So that time, this Devananda Pandit was also watching, and he was feeling so embarrassed. Because he served Vakreshwar Pandit, these feelings arose in his heart. Oh, that I have offended a pure devotee, I have offended the Lord many times. He was in front of me, but I couldn't really appreciate him. So he was feeling so bad, and then he was going and he was thinking, I should go and ask forgiveness, and then he was feeling so ashamed. How will I go and show my face to the Lord? But the Lord could understand his heart, because he is in everyone's heart as Paramatma. So he called Devananda Pandit, come. And then when he came, he said, because you have served Vakreshwar Pandit, the pure devotee, your life is now became perfect. I will forgive you for all that you have done. And he gave, love for Krishna, for Devananda Pandit. And then Devananda Pandit said, I am speaking, Bhagavatam for so long, but I don't know how to speak, what to speak. Please instruct my dear Lord, what should I actually speak? Then the Lord said, the goal of life is to attain pure love for God, and then for Krishna, and the process by which one can attain that love is devotional service. So hereafter you should only speak about this. And then Devananda Pandit said, I will do it. So here we see that the Lord, by blaspheming and by criticizing and the devotee, pure devotee Srivas Thakur, what did he get? He could not appreciate the Lord. He could not actually, even though the Lord was in front of him, he could not develop any love for the Lord. But when he actually served, Vakreshwar Pandit, what happened? He could actually, develop that love for the Lord, and, he could get to his senses. So we see that by serving a devotee, we can progress in our devotional life. We can actually, the Lord gets pleased with us. When we actually criticize the devotee, then what happens is that we are going back in our devotion life. The Lord gets displeased. Another Brahmana also came to the Lord, and the Lord, he said, my dear Lord, I didn't know, and I have offended you many times. I have offended all the devotees. Because I was thinking in Kali Yuga, how people can get prema and why all these devotees are simply talking about bhakti. Like that, I have criticized the devotees like the same mouth. I have criticized the devotees so many times. You please now forgive me, my dear Lord, I surrender unto you. You know what the Lord answered? This is a very good lesson for all of us. And for me personally, I felt it is a message, for this Gaura Purnima festival. He said, the Lord said, criticizing a devotee or speaking bad about a devotee is like drinking a poison, is drinking poison. So when we drink poison, what happens? For a person who drinks poison, suffering comes and death comes, right? And then, but the Lord says, but when someone takes nectar, amrita, nectar, what happens? The nectar has got the power to neutralize the effect of poison. Not only neutralizing the effect of poison, but it also, gives immortality. So he said to the Brahmana, the same mouth in which you have criticized, the solution, the medicine is just like someone has taken poison in the same mouth, it gets nullified or neutralized by taking the nectar. Similarly, the mouth which is criticized, you should now glorify the devotees. By glorifying the devotees and, genuinely appreciating their wonderful qualities, then you will neutralize the effect of the Vaishnava Parad. So in that way, your life will become perfect. And he told to all the residents, the devotees of Kulina Gram, the Grahastas, the householders, they came and asked the Lord, my dear Lord, we are fallen Grahastas. What can we do? How can we please you? The Lord said, keep chanting the holy name and serve all the devotees. So the Lord was keep on emphasizing the importance of, devotees. How we actually have to be very, very respectful and not criticize any devotees. If we get an opportunity, we serve them and we please them. And we see the same thing in Srimad Bhagavatam also. The Lord, we see that why we may think Devananda Pandit did not personally throw Shiva's Thakur, right? His students only took Shiva's Thakur and threw him out of the house. But why that Devananda Pandit got that, punishment? Because it is mentioned that if a servant does a mistake, the master takes the responsibility. The same thing is actually, we can see that the same thing is echoed in Srimad Bhagavatam also. In Jaya and Vijaya's example, Jaya and Vijaya, they were the doorkeepers of Vaikunta. And when the 4 Kumaras, they went to Vaikunta, at the final doorstep, Jaya and Vijaya stopped them. And, they thought they are just ordinary, some, unqualified people to enter the Vaikunta. They couldn't give the due respect, to the Kumaras, 4 Kumaras. And the 4 Kumaras were about to curse Jaya and Vijaya. So that time the Lord said, my servants have, offended you. So for that, the atonement is that you can chop off my own arms. The Supreme Lord is telling, the atonement for my servants, what, offense they have committed, you can even chop off my arms. These are the words of the Supreme Lord. So when a servant does a mistake, the master takes the responsibility. That's why Devananda Pandit's students did a mistake and he was watching it, but he did not stop them. So he also got that, so he also got affected by that offense. So we see this pastimes throughout the Lord, even in many, many other places, we see that Advaita Acharya, Mother Sachi Mata is own mother of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And who can become mother of the Supreme Lord unless someone is a transcendental personality or the closest associate? They cannot become the Lord's mother. But he, the Sachi Mata is Lord's mother, and even Sachi Mata, the Lord said she cannot get love of Krishna because at some point, when Nimai was a small baby, he will go along with his brother Vishwarupa to Advaita Acharya's to attend Advaita Acharya's Bhagavatam class, and Vishwarupa later became sannyas, took sannyas. So Mother Sachi was worried that Nimai would also follow in his footsteps. So she would sometimes say, why Advaita Acharya is calling, keeping my children there, like that. So even for that slightest which a mother can genuinely feel for a child, even that was considered as an offense. And then Mahaprabhu said that I will not give love of Godhead till my mother asks forgiveness from Advaita Acharya. So that is the grievous offense of offending a devotee. And that was the first offense we see, to blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their lives of propagating the holy names of the Lord. So how important to respect, to give, that value to the devotees. So we are all in a devotee community living together. So it is very, very important for all of us, this lessons. There are many, many lessons in Chaitanya Charitamrita. This is one of the principal, takeaway, because if this gets gone, I mean, if this is not given due value, the whole spiritual life gets uprooted. So, but at the same time, one can go like a rocket speed, progress one can make just by serving the devotees without criticizing anyone, do nicely chanting Hare Krishna, and then nicely, taking part in all the services, hearing about Krishna, hearing about, hearing all these different scriptures, one will make a rapid progress when we avoid this very, very detrimental offense of Vaishnava aparad. So that's one of the things we can actually meditate upon and see that how we can become more cautious and careful in dealing with the devotees, and we grab opportunity when we get a service to serve any Vaishnavas, and also we get an opportunity to glorify the Vaishnavas sincerely, not flattering, sincerely from heart. We should do that, and then avoid unnecessary things, like backbiting, criticizing, all these things, which are all material things. In the material world, worldly people do all these kind of things. So in a spiritual community, when it is free from all these things, it becomes very pure. And we can see the mercy of the Lord flowing more and more, so that's what is one of the prayers for this Gaura Purnima festival, that the Lord blesses us, that we can chant the holy name, we get the taste for chanting the holy name, and we can serve the devotees sincerely. So I take this opportunity also to all the devotees who have gathered here to forgive me for my offenses committed knowingly or unknowingly all these years. So my sincere, apologies, and also I seek all your blessings so that with a proper frame of mind, in the right mood of service, I can serve Guru, Gauranga, and Vaishnavas. So when we all of them as a community, we can serve with a very nice mood of service spirit, then we will be able to, inspire many, many more, people, also to take up, Krishna consciousness in their lives. We can become really empowered instruments, useful instruments in the Lord's service only when our hearts are, free from this mentality of offending the Vaishnavas. Otherwise, there is no hope. Devananda Pandit was so pious, so erudite scholar, very gentle in speaking. He know all the mannerism. Nothing actually impressed the Lord because he has offended. That one thing has put everything on, into, shame. So nothing else is going to please the Lord. simple-hearted, being very simple, very nice, chanting the holy name, very respectful, and not criticizing any devotees. At the same time, like when we become like that, automatically we will become an empowered instrument. No, we don't even have to go and tell. Automatically, people will get inspired, to follow Krishna consciousness. So that's the takeaway I personally have taken. I want to take. I know it's not so easy, but to be very careful. But we take and we want to very carefully and consciously apply this in our lives. And I thought it will be useful for everyone. So that's why I'm sharing this with all of you. So thank you so much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai.
Jai.
Gaura Purnima Maha Mahotsav ki
Jai.
jai.
Hare
So
Krishna.
thank you all so much.
Hare
Wishing you
Krishna.
all a very, very blissful festival tomorrow. Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Any announcement? We'll quickly show the darshan of Jagannath. Sorry, I took little overtime today. Hope you won't mind. Just quickly give you darshan.
Yes,
Is there
Mataji,
any-
regarding the tomorrow's temple, Soho temple
Yes.
program. So I
Yes.
will publish again in the main announcement group regarding what are the schedule for tomorrow's timing and other kirtans and feast. So all the devotees are requested to please come to temple at least for a couple of hours, and then if you can take half day leave or 2 hours leave or full day leave, it's up to Krishna's mercy. And
Yes.
please join us in the temple festival and help as much as you can do the service. Hare
Yes. Thank you so much, Vivek Prabhu. Yes, it's so blissful. In fact, in the Vaishnava calendar, after the appearance of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it's a new year. So it's a Vaishnava new year. That means such a blessing. Every people like to be in the temple, offering prayers for the new year, isn't it? So it's perfect day to be there in the temple and pray to the Lord. We can thank the Lord for all the mercy what we have got in our life. And we can ask forgiveness for all the mistakes that we have done in our lives. And then we can also seek for that mercy, the protection, the blessings, the empowerment, everything. We can request the Lord to bless us so that we can onward, going forward, we can follow that very nicely. And blissfully, we can happily, we can serve them, serve him. So that is our prayer. So, and also a lot of service opportunity. Whoever can take part, please come. Beautiful darshan of the Lordships, not to miss. And it is not too far in the central London. So we all can come and, take part and take darshan. And the evening, we are the devotees who are fasting. They will be fasting until 6 o'clock. And then after that, we break our fast. And in the temple, we can have the prasadam. There is Abhishek, there is drama, beautiful drama, Kirtans, whole day festivities there, which Prabhu will share the details. I think he already shared, we will again share. So please come and let's all have a wonderful festival tomorrow. Yeah, Hari Bol. And just now, Jagannath also is going to sleep now. He's already in the night outfit. But I'll try quickly give you the darshan. Just give me a minute. So we have lots to speak on Mahaprabhu's pastimes, but yeah, I didn't realize the time. We didn't even touch a part of it. Maybe we should have some full day session from various elevated speakers. We can hear the nectar. Can you show, please? My mobile, I think it has some, it's not coming out. Just give me a second. Hare Krishna. Hari Bol. Can you please show the darshan, please? Yeah. Bear with me for a second. And we really thank all the Gita Gyan devotees and all the devotees for all your wonderful participation And please continue. There is advanced level there, Bhagavad Gita, which is going to be really exciting and wonderful, where you can really, apply all those that you have read in your 18 days. It's going to be amazing. You will really enjoy it. So would recommend all the devotees to join the advanced class. It will be very interesting. Yeah. So Jagannath has already gone to bed.
Jai Jagannath, Jai Baladev, Jai
Jai
Subhadra
Subhadra
Mother.
ki jai, Shri
Jai
Panchatattva ki jai, Shri Gaurnitai ki
Jai.
jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Premanande Hari Hari
Hari
Bol.
Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna, thank you
Hare
so
Krishna.
much. Hari Bol. Jai.
Thanks,
Hari Hari
Mataji,
Bol.
for
Jai.
the
Thank you,
lesson.
Prabhu. Thank you, all the
Hare
devotees.
Krishna. See you all tomorrow in the temple.
Hari Bol. That's so nice.
Gauranga.
Gauranga.